Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. Although I happen to be standing on a yoga mat, if you don't have one, you'll be fine. Just find a place in your house that's carpeted. Maybe you have a rug that can become your yoga mat for today. Also, a couple of blocks, which 2 thick books could actually become if you need to, and a folded blanket. The folded blanket from your couch or a big beach towel will be perfect. And once you have those, we will stand at the front edge of our mat or whatever you're using as your mat space with our feet hip distance, a little soft bend in our knees. Turn your palms away from each other and let that happen at your shoulder joint. And there's an uplift of your heart, chin parallel to the ground. Become aware of your breath. If it's possible at all, let that breath come in and out of your nose. If that's not doable, no worries. Just awareness is great. Adding some movement. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips. And for the first one, just bring your hands on your thighs. Traction your hands on your thighs and inhale, grow your spine long. This is always a priority in our practice. As we fold, it's a hinge at our hips. Even if we take the fold a little bit deeper as we go. Hinge at our hips and length through our spine. And then inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Stand in your mountain, an uplift of our heart, an evenness of our breath. Adding on, inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Hands can come to your thighs or shins or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart. I slide my hands up my shins as I do that. And then maybe slide them back down as we fold. But remember, hinging at our hips and long through our spine. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V shape. And then pause and palms face out. One more time, just like that. Inhale, V shape, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, ankles, or feet. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge and fold. Rise, reach as we inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, and then stand. Palms face out. We add again. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, your shins, your ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart, and this time bend your knees enough that your hands go flat on your mat. We'll step to down dog. Some of us will actually take our feet wider than hip distance. That's perfect. Bend your knees. Feel free to be high on your toes. Here's our priority. We're not collapsed, bending our elbows out and into our shoulders. So straighten your arms, spin your inner upper arms like they're gonna spin out in front of you. Lift your sit bone as if there was a hook in your tailbone and lengthen your spine. We don't want any rounding. Maybe your heels start to move towards the ground. Most of us are gonna stay on our tiptoes or pretty high on our toes. And then we'll exhale and walk forward. Feet come to our hands, hip distance. Hands to shins, ankles, thighs. As we inhale, fold back in, keep the length in your spine. Rise, reach to the ceiling, thumbs to the sky, and stand into your mountain. Inhale, arms reach, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart, bend your knees enough that your hands can come to your mat. We step to down dog once again. We find that long spine in our humble bow. And then we'll shift to plank, and you can always bring your knees down for a modified plank. We want to keep our shoulders over our wrists. That's super important. And there's some trunk stability. That means low belly drawing towards our spine. Lift your hips like that hook in your tailbone is drawing you back to a long spine in our bow. And then walk your feet forward, hip distance. Inhale, hands to ankles, shins, thighs, uplifting our heart. Exhale, we fold, but it's a hinge at our hips. And then we inhale, rise and reach, thumbs to the sky. Stand, arms along our side, palms face out. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart, bend your knees enough that your hands come flat for down dog. Long spine in our down dog, hook in our tailbone. Come to plank position, shoulders over wrists, knees down for all of us. Shoulders stay over our wrists, draw your belly towards your spine. Elbows brush your ribs as we come all the way down onto the ground. Sphinx pose first, forearms down, uncurl your toes, traction your elbows towards you, chest through the gateway of our arms. Lower down, you can stay with Sphinx or take your hands next to your ribs. Press into the tops of your feet, whether it's hands or forearms, whether it's Sphinx or Cobra, so we activate our legs and we don't throw our chin forward. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through hands and knees, and then into downward facing dog. Long spine, hips high, inner upper arms spinning forward. Walk forward, feet hip distance all the way up to our hands, hands to ankles, shins, thighs as we inhale, and then fold, but keep the length in your spine. Rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then stand into your mountain. A chair pose here, bend your knees. What we don't want is to load our knees. So think hips back and down in our chair pose, like there is a little chair there you're tempted to sit in. And then stand it up, arms along your side. Adding a friend to our chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Now, here in chair, stand on your right leg, bring your left knee to your chest, and carefully step back into crescent pose. Arms can be in a V or out to the side if that's helpful. We're on the ball of our left foot, our back foot, and we're steering our hips a bit towards the front edge of our mat. I like my arms out to the side. It just feels like it's an easier place to balance because we will step back, left foot hip distance from right, into our chair, and then stand and pause. This is the launching pad, and we'll keep adding on like a little bit of a ladder flow here. Chair pose. Remember, we're sitting back and down. Stand on your left leg, reach your right leg towards your chest, and then ultimately back into a lunge, a crescent lunge. You might situate a V shape with your arms. We're steering left hip back and right hip forward and pausing a moment here. Then arms out to the side might be helpful as we step right back into chair, feet hip distance, a V shape now, and then we stand and pause in our mountain. Adding some friends to our flow. Chair pose, stand on your right leg, bring your left knee to your chest, and then step it back into your crescent lunge with our right foot forward. Now, we turn this pose into a warrior two. So let's make a prayer in front of our heart. Spin your left foot, your back foot flat, carefully heel toe, right foot to the right. We want to not be knee in front of ankle, so you might need to also adjust the length of your stance. Thumbs to the sky, arms out to the side, warrior two. We're turning this into a flow, but the first time we visit our friends, let's spend a little time in them. So like our friend warrior two here, we really want to feel vertical line from knee to ankle, 45 degrees in our back foot, our left foot. Left thigh bone into the hamstring, and now take your right forearm across your thigh and your left arm up to the sky. As we do that, no crumbling into our right shoulder. We've got a karate chop, and we're swinging our right hip underneath us, not swinging our butt out to the right. 2 moments here. Come upright into warrior two. Be mindful that we don't want to torque your back knee. So you'll spin on your left toes and turn your chest to face towards the front. Heel toe your left foot a little to the left. I like my arms out to the side to navigate into chair pose. Left foot, hip distance from right into our chair, and we stand into our mountain, building out that flow, but slowly on our second side, chair pose. Stand on your left leg, right knee to chest, and it steps back into your crescent pose. Stick your landing, know where you are, create a prayer in front of your heart, drop your back heel, your right heel, heel toe your left foot over to the right a little bit, and then we'll find heel to arch alignment, arms out to the side. We want to make sure that there's a vertical line from our left knee to our left ankle, and then we pause. Thumbs to the sky, right thigh bone into the hamstring, 45-degree angle with our back foot. 3 moments. Left forearm across our thigh, right arm up to the sky. Remember our karate chop, so there's spaciousness, not a crumble, not a side bend. We want to keep that long spine a priority here and now. Now we come back upright into Warrior Two. A few important things here. Spin on your back toes, turn and probably heel toe carefully your left foot over to the left a little bit for some space. Know where we're going. We're going to chair. Feet hip distance, thumbs to the sky, stand it up, and we pause. We'll flow that together. So chair pose, inhale. Stand on your right leg, left knee to chest, and then step it slowly into crescent pose. Hands in a prayer. Drop your back heel. You can inch your right foot a little bit to the left. Arms out to the side. We're in our Warrior Two. Then right forearm across your thigh. Left arm up to the sky. Come back to your Warrior Two. Maybe we do the heel toe of our right foot and we spin onto our back toes carefully at the same time. We're facing forward before we move into chair pose, feet hip distance. And then we stand and we'll stand on our left leg. Ready? Right knee into chest. Step it back, crescent pose. So we're just flowing from one side to the other. Hands in a prayer, drop your right heel, heel toe, Warrior Two, thumbs to the sky. Once we're here, left forearm across the thigh, right arm to the sky, thumb to the sky, back to our Warrior Two. This is a transition that requires a lot of mindfulness, so spin on your back toes, walk that left foot a little bit to the left, make sure we're facing forward before we move, right foot hip distance from left, chair pose. We stand on our right leg, left knee into our chest. We're going, we keep going and flowing. Step it back, crescent pose, hands in a prayer. Drop your back foot, Warrior Two, arms outstretch. Side angle, forearm across your thigh, left arm up to the sky. Back to our Warrior Two. We carefully turn forward and turn on our back toes and know where we are before we step. Left foot hip distance from right into our chair pose. Stand on your left leg, right knee to your chest. Step it into crescent. Hands in a prayer, Warrior Two. Drop your back heel, arms reach out to the side. And then left forearm across the thigh. Right arm up to the sky. We come back to our Warrior Two. Remember, this is the challenging transition. Spin on your back toes, face forward, know where you are. Right foot hip distance from left chair. We're gonna do each side one more time. Stand on your right leg, left knee to chest. Step into your crescent. Hands in a prayer. Warrior Two, almost like we're doing Tai Chi. Right forearm across your thigh, left arm up to the sky. Back to Warrior Two. Carefully spin forward. Know where you are before you step into your chair. Your feet are hip distance. Stand on your left leg. Step it back into crescent. Try not to step on your dog. Hands in a prayer. Back foot flat. Warrior Two, thumbs to the sky. Left forearm across your thigh. Right arm up to the sky. Back to Warrior Two and ultimately spin on your back toes and face the front of your mat. Step from here into chair pose. Stand it up for a moment. Pause in your mountain. We will start with those friends, with that warrior flow, but we'll add on to it. So I just want to give you a moment to stand in what we've done so far. And I want us to situate our props. So take your 2 blocks and let them be tall on either side of your mat. We're standing in our mountain, and we'll add on some nice friends. Chair pose. Stand on your right leg. Left leg steps back behind you, crescent. Hands in a prayer. Drop your back heel. Warrior 2. Form across our thigh. Left thumb to the sky. So far, pretty familiar terrain. Warrior 2 this time. Right thumb to the sky, left hand very gently on your back thigh, not on top of your knee, but on your left thigh. Straighten your front leg as you reach at a diagonal with your right arm and make so much space happen on the right side of your waist. We hinge at our right hip, reach way out, and find our block on the outside of our right foot. If you use your shin, which is fine, I don't want you to lock your leg out and press into it. That's true for whether we're using a block or we're using our shin. So press into your right big toe mound. Left arm goes to the sky. We're turning our body towards the left, and we want length on the left side of our waist. So you'll notice I'm not doing a side bend. I've got a ton of length, like the space we just found when we reached at the diagonal with our left arm. Like I brought that into what I'm doing here. Spin your inner upper arms away from each other and breathe. Three moments together here. Take your left hand onto your hip. Bend your right knee, spin on your back toes, move your block a foot out in front of your right pinky toe. Keep your body facing sideways like you just took your triangle flying, because you basically did. Keep your left hand on your hip for now, and keep hugging your right hip underneath you. Option to stay here or take your left arm up to the sky. 2 moments. Now I want us to be able to use both hands on our block for the next transition. So look at your block and move it so that it's a little bit more in front of your body than it is off to the side. Take your right hand to your block, square your hips, and then step your feet hip distance into your chair pose. Thumbs to the sky. Stand, let's pause. That was a lot. We'll breathe. Second side, chair pose. Stand on your left leg, step back carefully, crescent pose, and then hands in a prayer. Drop your back heel, inch your left foot over to the right a little bit, warrior 2, and then side angle, left forearm across our thigh, right arm up to the sky. We come through warrior 2 again, thumbs to the sky. And then gently right hand on right thigh. So we're not putting sideways pressure there. And a V shape, we reach at a diagonal. We feel so much spaciousness now on the left side of our body. Start to straighten your front leg by pressing into your left big toe mound and pause here. Take this inspiration of space, hinge at your left hip. Reach way out. You might find your shin, but I think using a block is a really good idea. Press into your left big toe mound. Feel your inner upper arms spin away from each other. Let's pause. Try to find more and more space on your bottom ribs. 2 more moments. Right hand on your hip. Move your block forward. So really spinning on your back toes and taking your block with you is going to be pretty key for balance here. You could always use something other than a block to give you a little bit of uplift. The uplift is really key. And when and if you're ready, right arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky, we pause. So even if you have a little stool at your house, something like that that you can use to give your hands something sturdy to rest on, or the seat of a chair, that's great stuff. Let's make sure both hands have access to our block. Move it a little to the right, both hands on your block. Carefully square your hips off. Step down, feet hip distance. We're in our chair, thumbs to the sky, and then stand it up, arms along your side. Take your two blocks out in front of you. Maybe it's a stool or a chair seat. So we're doing some pretty advanced stuff that really does require uplift of a block or the seat of a chair or anything that you can use as your block. Chair pose. Stand on your left leg, right ankle on top of left thigh. You could stay upright here or take your hands carefully onto your blocks and you will feel a bit of stretch here. We're not here long. You want to curl your right toes back and we stay for 3 and again for 2. Step your right foot hip distance from your left. Take a chair pose in between sides, thumbs to the sky, and then we'll stand it up. And pause. With a bend in our knees, left ankle on top of right thigh. Either stay here, upright, totally fine. You'll get a little balancing challenge, or with a long spine, reach towards your blocks. Curl your left toes back, enjoy the stretch. Three moments here. Now you'll need to firm through your belly, step your left foot hip distance from your right. You can move your blocks off to the side, chair pose, thumbs to the sky, and then let's stand and absorb all of that in our mountain. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, ankles, maybe feet. Inhale, uplift your heart. Hands to your mat. Downward facing dog. I think most of us will stay in our down dog, but if you want one more sun salutation, shift to plank, shoulders over wrists, knees down, all the way carefully to your belly, lifting your belly towards your spine. Uncurl your toes for a sphinx pose or a cobra. Gently lower down and curl your toes under, come through all fours. Let's meet our friends in down dog. And then we'll lift our right leg behind us and step it through into single pigeon. So I use my block underneath my right sit bone for single pigeon and curl my right toes back, and then here I am. Now, for some of us, this position just doesn't feel right in our bodies. So what you might do is what we just did together, standing, but seated, cross right ankle on top of left thigh and get length through your spine, curling your right toes back. So I leave the option to you. You're the expert of your own body. It could be a seated version of what we did standing, or it can be your single pigeon where your right knee is bent, you're seated on your block, your left leg is extended back behind you. You'd like to scoot your right knee to the right a little bit, not way over to the left, but again, feel into it. See where you get a little bit of sensation, not too much. Now, if you walk forward, I'm going to ask you to keep space and length in your spine. We're not crumbling and rounding. So let's keep this tall. I like to keep my back toes curled under and spin that back thigh to face down. And with my hands, it's almost like I'm encouraging cobra or sphinx. Now, if you are doing the seated figure 4, you can stay seated and simply switch the cross of the ankle. In pigeon, let's move our prop off to the side, carefully bring ourselves into down dog, lift our left leg, and then step through and situate our block underneath our left sit bone. So some of us are in a seated figure 4. Some of us are in a single pigeon, and we're using our hands to encourage something that feels like cobra or sphinx pose. We'd like to walk our left knee over to the left a little bit, but feel into it. Let it not be anything extreme. And let's get soft here for a full minute. My friends who are doing the seated cross-legged figure 4, just stay seated because we're going to come and meet you. If you're in a single pigeon, move your prop off to the side and step carefully into down dog. And from down dog, all of us will walk carefully through to seated, like our friends who are doing the seated figure 4. Lie down, all of us, on our back, feet hip distance, knees to the sky, palms flat, snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you, and gently lift your hips up into a bridge pose. Lower your hips onto your mat. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees fall in on each other. And now turn your palms to the sky. One more time, shimmy your shoulder blades underneath your body. You can absolutely stay just like this, or extend one leg straight and then the other leg straight for our Shavasana final meditation. You could close, even cover your eyes, but do let yourself let go. I encourage you to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation for as long as you'd like. If you're ready, wiggle fingers and toes, reach your arms and legs away from each other, and then collect your knees into your chest. Roll carefully to either side. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Sit in any comfortable position. Maybe that's a cross-legged seat. Palms up or down. Just feel the effects of your practice, body and mind. I'm Andrea, Thank you so much for practicing with me today.